Hey guys, Zen here with the Bounty Hunter 6 video. In this particular video, there's a lot of fighting going on and more quests towards the end of it as I turn in a ton of these quests. But for the most part, at the beginning here, it's a lot of killing things that I needed for quests. So I just finished off the last named, or second to last named character I needed to kill there. I'm going to head up over this direction and kill this other one that's up on this hill before I run into this main hut complex. I end up like derping around in there and forgetting to do a quest, so I'm like running around, but I didn't cut all that out because, well, it kind of makes you see where some of the quest items are that you're going to need to know. So on the lines of using this as a video guide for leveling in Hutta, then, you know, that way you'll be able to see where those specific droids are that you have to I think you have to like activate this thing on them. I don't know how it works, but because there's a lot of action here at the beginning, I have plenty of time to explain what I wanted to a couple videos ago, which was the stats. Right, I wanted to explain in depth what the stats actually mean and the different stats available on each of the types of characters and stuff. So pretty much you have, just like in any other RPG, you have primary stats and your secondary stats. So your primary stats are aim, cunning, endurance, strength, and willpower. So that's pretty much agility, more agility, health, strength, and like intellect is really what you could think of it as. But aim is a stat that I'll go into which characters actually use them, but you can expect to see aim on like a bounty hunter. It increases the damage with ranged weapons, it increases critical strike chance, and it also increases like some of the healing abilities as well that like bounty hunters and troopers do. Cunning is pretty much the exact same thing, except it instead helps with tech abilities. So you would see cunning on smugglers and Imperial agents. They will get bonus healing from that, bonus damage, and just overall general bonuses for their class. Endurance is pretty much your stamina. It increases your HP. I think there's some other components to endurance that I don't understand, but if I figure those out when the game launches, I will let you guys know. Strength is something you would see on Jedi Knights and Sith Warriors. It basically increases the damage they do with melee weapons and critical strike rate and all that fun stuff. It's what you would expect strength to do. And then willpower increases damage with force abilities and helps with healing and healing critical stuff and all that. So willpower is kind of your intelligence in other MMOs. Basically, you'll see willpower on consulars and inquisitors, and it'll increase kind of their force abilities. So for each of the different classes, the bounty hunter and the trooper, their primary stat is aim. For the agent and the smuggler, their primary stat is cunning. For the warrior and Jedi Knight, there is strength, and then for the inquisitor and the consular, it's willpower. So that's how that all gets balanced out based on the classes. So pretty much the mirrored classes on each side have the same primary stat, which you would expect. Now, the primary stats I've noticed, if you're doing a quest for, I don't know, say I'm on my bounty hunter and I have like Holy on an inquisitor, and we both do the same quest together, like some generic quest out in the middle of a world. Basically, I would get an item on my bounty hunter that has aim on it, and the item he would get from the quest reward would have willpower on it if he was on his inquisitor. So there you go. That's how it works. It knows that you're playing a certain class, and so for quest rewards, it'll give you specific items for your class, and I really like that. Now, before I go into the next spot, I did want to mention that and you've seen this in the Flashpoint video, but there's also these offhand items, and the offhand items are kind of like for tanks, really. I mean, I think there's ones for like the Inquisitor and stuff, but for the most part, it's mostly meant for like bounty hunters and you know, tanks, really, just tanks in general. And basically, it's a shield, but it's not a shield. It's like an offhand item, but it acts like a shield, so it's got shield-like properties on it. And we'll get more into that as we go into the secondary stats, which I'm going to explain next. But before I do, I came back here because I had to do this droid thing. So this is where the first droid is at as you come into this complex, just so you guys know. And then I turn back around and actually go towards the quest that I need to go to. So as far as secondary stats go, you have, I'll just go through them real quick. You have absorption, accuracy, alacrity, armor, critical chance / critical multipliers. You have your primary damage stat. You have defense, expertise, force power / tech power, that kind of thing. Presence and surge. So as I was saying with the offhands, you have these, you know, these offhand abilities, and when I don't know, someone correct me on this, please, but I think you can only get a specific absorption effect if you have one of these tanking offhands. But basically, it's like a chance to shield, right? So, say you had a shield in any other RPG. I mean, you have a chance to block most of the time, right? So this is kind of the same deal. So basically, if you had one of these offhand items as a bounty hunter, it would have a chance to absorb or put a shield on you that would absorb. So it would have a chance to shield. And then the absorption secondary stat is how much it'll absorb. So that's how that works. And accuracy is kind of your hit chance, right? So that's, I mean, everybody knows what hit chance is in any other thing. It just gives you a chance or a greater chance to hit the target rather than miss. So accuracy does that. Alacrity is like your haste, increases casting speeds and whatnot. Armor, that's self-explanatory. I don't need to go into that. Your critical chance, don't need to go into that. And your damage primary stat, don't really need to go into that. Like, pretty much you can think of your normal damage, like off of a blaster or a lightsaber, as your primary damage stat. And that would that shows up on your character screen. The other ones are defense. Now, defense is like dodge or parry or stuff like that. It basically increases the chance that you will dodge and whatnot. So that's a tanking stat. Expertise is like resilience in Warcraft. And that it's basically the exact same thing. It reduces the damage you take from other players, but it also has a second effect on it, which it increases the damage you do to other players. So expertise is definitely a PvP stat, and from what I hear, it's fairly balanced on that end. And the last three I'll go into here after I finish this quest. This quest gives me a really dark side option that I end up taking. And you'll see what I mean coming up here, but I like this bounty hunter quest. It gets interesting, and Mako, about here on, from here on, becomes a really integral character. So you'll see what I mean. Enjoy.
Stay back. I've got well, I guess I don't have much of anything. Please just tell me why I'm being held here.
What do you think? This our Republic scientist?
She fits the target description. Now we just wait for Rars to show. Short version, lady. There's a bounty hunter coming to take you to the Empire, where you'll probably die or at least be tortured.
Oh, my...
We want to kill this bounty hunter, so it's your lucky day. Just sit quietly and be bait-like.
We'll try not to splatter any blood on you, ma'am.
I'm not cut out for this. Please let me go. I'll do anything to...
What part of sit quietly don't you understand? You're gonna blow her... Oh, great.
I've never killed a... What is he again, Mako?
Trandoshan. Rhymes with dead meat.
I have to admit, I do love this job.
He's ugly. So kill him real quick as he pops in there. Deal with him as Mako heals me back up. But yeah, you can kind of tell like Mako starts having like interaction within your story as you go through and do quests. So that's what I meant by from here on she becomes an integral part. As long as you have her with you, she'll pipe in like that, and it changes the way quests play out, at least from what I've seen. So I quite like it.
That was brutal. But I owe you my thanks.
Got that right, girl. We're the heroes of the day.
So, what happens now?
Isn't there a bounty on this woman, Mako?
Sure, but that's not something we're interested in, right?
Interested nothing. I'm positively intrigued.
No, please.
That was disgusting. You're not the person I thought you were.
Can't afford to be sentimental.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. It still feels wrong. Take her body. We'll need it to turn in the bounty. Come on, let's grab the sponsorship token and get out of here.
So yeah, that was the dark option I was talking about. It's like, yeah, I saved her, but then I kill her anyways, because heck, I need the money. But yeah, it's one of those dark side options that it's kind of hard to choose at first. You're like, should I do this? And it doesn't help that Mako makes you feel guilty about it every single time that you choose a dark side option. She definitely doesn't like you playing dark side, and she likes the light side choices. But, you know, it doesn't really matter, because like in Dragon Age, and I think Mass Effect, no, I think it was just Dragon Age, they have the gift system, so even if she doesn't like you doing those kind of decisions and you lose reputation or affection or whatever it is with her, then you could just go find a ton of gifts and buy her affection back. Because in this game, all companions are cheap. They will all love to receive gifts, and you can get your affection right back up with them. So you'll never miss out on any quests. It may be more expensive to do it that way, but who cares? You can just buy them off. I like having that option. So get the lore item here and free this guy from the carbonite. Yay, carbonite! I love carbonite.
What's going on? Who are you? Why can't I see anything? If you're one of Father's goons, I swear I'll...
Burnock hired me to free you.
Burnock the idiot. I told him not to stick his neck out. Get away from me. I can handle myself. If only I could see. Can someone turn on a light?
Your sight will return soon. It's just hibernation sickness.
What? Hibernation sickness? Blast it. Blast it. Forget it. Sorry. Thank you for getting me out of there. Just wasn't sure I could trust you. Look, I came in here to find a stash Father is said to be hiding. I found the key to the stash, but as soon as I grabbed it, I got froze. Take the key and the stash as your reward for saving my life. As for me, I'll call my pal Burnock. Think I'll be safe waiting here for him to help me out? Burnock may not look like much, but he's dependable to a fault. Besides, you seem to have cleared the place well enough. Anyway, thanks again. Maybe I'll see you back in Jaguna at Old Nemrose.
There we go. Get him out as it fades from the blackness. There we go. As I've said many times, beta is beta. If you see bugs, that's why. The game is not released yet, although the beta did just end. So we're close. We're really close. It comes out on the 20th if you don't already know, and if you haven't already pre-ordered, do so, and then you'll get early access. Not as early access as the cool kids who ordered on day one from pre-ordering, like me and Holy, but you'll still be able to get in before the game actually launches, which is good. So, back to the last few stats. So I had just finished talking about expertise and how it's the PvP stat. There's also force power and tech power. Think of that as spell power in any fantasy MMO. Really, that's all it does. If you have a lot of force power, it increases your force power damage and healing and all that. And if you have a lot of tech power, it does the exact same thing, but for tech powers. So you would see that a lot on Inquisitors, Consulars, Smugglers for the tech power, and Agents for the tech power. So after that, you have Presence. Now, Presence is a very interesting stat. It doesn't affect your character at all. In fact, it it affects your companion. So if you have a lot of presence, it will make your companion just generally better. It'll give them more HP. It will, I think it makes their damage go up. It just does everything and increases their healing. So presence is the stat that you want for getting your companion stronger. I could see how this stat would be incredibly useful if you're doing a lot of solo play and stuff. It's weird because you're not used to having a stat like this. Like, what game can you think of that's an MMO that you actually needed a stat to increase your companions? Or what game in general that's an MMO did you ever have a companion like in this game? I think this is the first game to actually do something to this degree. I'm sure there's other games with companions, but not quite like this. So, yeah, so presence increases your companion damage, and healing and health and everything that they possibly do is increased by presence. So stack that if you're interested in it. Surge, on the other hand, Surge increases your critical strike damage. I think that's a cool stat. You don't see that too often in other games, and when you do see it, it's more of like a talent tree thing or something like that. So it's cool that they give you a surge ability, a stat that makes it so if you have a lot of critical strike, or if your character plays off of critical strike chance, then you would stack surge to make those even more powerful. I could see how that would be kind of powerful in PvP in combination with a lot of expertise and crit, because you could be able to burst somebody down unexpectedly, and the healers may not see that kind of thing coming, especially if it scales really well. I don't know exactly how it scales, but that's just how it is. So those are the primary and secondary stats in the game. They're very familiar if you've ever played an RPG. Sorry, I'm really tired, but they're really familiar if you played any type of RPG at all, and you can catch on pretty quickly. It's just figuring out the names is a little weird. It's like playing DC Universe with me and Holy. All the stats have super weird names. We get the general idea of what each stat does, but the weird names confuse you at first. Once you catch on, though, it makes sense. And it also makes sense that they wouldn't name it like agility and mana and stuff like that, or intellect, because that's a different type of universe. That's not the Star Wars theme and stuff. I like where they've gone with the stats. The stats were much different, like during the summer, or it was a little before that, from what I saw. Before they redesigned the UI and everything, the stats were quite a bit different. But for the most part, from what I've seen, like I said, I really like these stats. They're very familiar. So the specific classes, if you're interested in this, for the advanced classes, use kind of more of specific stats. So this is I pulled this off a guide site for Star Wars gearing up your characters and stuff like that. I think it's called the Statistics Guide. I don't know exactly what it is. But these are specific stats for advanced classes. So for the Bounty Hunter, you have your Mercenary and Power Tech. The Mercenary would use critical and surge. So that's how the Mercenary works. They work off critical strike chance, apparently. The Power Tech would obviously be endurance and defense. The Agent would do surge and alacrity. So apparently they really like haste for their casting times, which it makes sense, honestly. And after that, the Operative has power, critical strike, and then surge. So kind of the same thing, not really, because the power makes it a bit different. And if you're confused what the power does, that's tech power for them. And if it was a Jedi or not, yeah, I guess a Jedi consular would be like force power. So the warrior, the Sith warrior, the Juggernaut advanced class uses endurance, defense, accuracy, power, pretty much all the tanking stats. The Marauder is the basic warrior stats, the critical strike, power for their force powers, which also include melee stuff, surge, and accuracy. And remember, I'm taking this all off of a guide. I don't know exactly how accurate this is, so if you're interested in how to build your character stat-wise, it's probably best if you look on the forums once the game launches, because there'll be guides all over the place. The Inquisitor, on the other hand, their sorcerer, is all about power, critical strike, surge, and haste or alacrity. I think that's how you say it. It's A-L-A-C-R-I-T-Y. It's alacrity. Or maybe it isn't. Who knows? I'm really tired. The Assassin goes off of critical, alacrity, and accuracy, but that's not... I mean, all of these are kind of subjective, right? Because within each of these advanced classes, there's 3 trees. So for the Assassin, for example, you would have endurance and stuff on there if you were the Assassin tank. So these, take these all with a grain of salt, because they aren't exactly 100% accurate. And it's basically the exact same on the other side, so that's really all you need to know. If I said, like, Bounty Hunter, think Trooper, or if I said Agent, think Smuggler, and it's basically the exact same thing. So, yeah, that's just a quick look at, that's a pretty detailed look at how the stats work in SWTOR. If you have any advice for people for leveling up their character, maybe you played a agent and you noticed that like one stat was super powerful on all your abilities, post that in the comments and people will look through those and see it, and it will make me look like a fool, because I'm sure I would have said the exact opposite. So whatevs. I don't care. Lock my iPad, put that down finally. I've been holding that in my hand since the beginning of this episode, just reading those. But yeah, like I said, I really like the stats and how they work. The secondary stats are a bit complicated, and the primary stats are more general. So if you're looking for a really in-depth RPG experience, then look at all the secondary stats, because that would be the primary source of that. The primary stats, on the other hand, have a much more general overall arcing thing, like aim does healing and range damage, and it's one of those kind of stats. But put my new title on, did I? I don't think I did. Oh well. Turn this quest in finally.
You made it! Good work. The transmitters are all broadcasting beautifully. Once I've got all the data, I can finally get out of here. Here, your payment. Everything I've got, just like I promised. Small price to pay to keep breathing, right? Thanks for your help.
I don't know why, but that guy reminds me of Jesse Cox. I noticed that the first time I talked to him, and I was like, it's just like one of the voices Jesse does, I guess, but oh well. So I'm going to go quick travel back to the Hutt Palace, and I'm going to turn in a couple other quests there. So this series of quest turn-ins get you quite a bit of experience, and you'll see what I mean. It's like quest turn-in after quest turn-in after quest turn-in. I think I end up getting level 10 in this video, which means I go and try to get my advanced class, or maybe I think I get really close. I don't quite get it. If I had done the other quest, the other group quest, I probably would have gotten it. But, what can you do other than find a group member to go do it? I probably actually could have gone and done it with Mako. I just was a bit ready to finish off this area to show you guys the advanced classes for the Bounty Hunter and get into the flashpoint that I ended up doing. So let's turn in this quest.
Well, look who's here. You're the one that saved my buddy Orin. Without you, that man'd still be hanging in Fathra's trophy room. He's got a few scrapes, but he's doing pretty well.
The reward sounded good.
Well, I appreciate it. Here's your credits. And I'll tell you what, once Orin's sight is all back, we'll buy you a drink. A couple of drinks.
I think it's either really dirty here on Hutta, or that guy just needs to get a little less sun while wearing goggles. I really like that complexion option that they have, though. So one thing I wanted to mention is I looked over some of the patch notes before the beta went down. I don't know if this is going to go live, but it was something worth mentioning to all of you, which was they increased the amount of experience gained through the 1 through 10 areas. So basically, it's easier to get to level 10 if you don't do the group quests. So everybody should end the starting world at level 10 if they do all the quests, minus the group ones. I think that's reasonable. I like that they increased the amount of XP there, because I did notice that I actually had to do the group quests, or I really had to search around for like holograms and stuff with the XP and lore objects and to get that XP in order to actually get 10 when walking off of a world. Like, I don't think I did on my Smuggler, and I may have on the Jedi Knight. It was probably pretty close, but you know, I like that they changed that. It makes it quite a bit easier. I think I reloaded the game there. I was having lagging issues, but I'm going to run over here and turn in this quest to the gangsta guy, which doesn't sound like he should have that voice to begin with, but whatevs.
Ah, is this my favorite mercenary returning with a rancor egg for Nemro?
Take it before it hatches!
Oh, did you see it crack? This is so exciting! This'll make the big guy plenty happy, which makes me happy, so I can make you happy. Here's your pay, and good work.
Did you expect anything less?
Oh, I guess I didn't. Thanks again.
I wonder if the male bounty hunter has that option in chat as well. Take it quickly before it hatches, or whatever it was. I think that's really funny. That was an accidental click there. I didn't actually mean to hit that one, but I did. It was actually kind of funny. I don't know why I lost the... I lost a point with Mako. Like, was it because I wasn't man enough for her? Like, what was that? Oh, well. I'm not going to look too far into that, hopefully.
Very well, Nimro. When the Trandoshan returns, I shall... Ah, I see we have a new player in the game after all.
That's the bone mask creep that followed me. Get him!
Hunter, allow me to apologize if I spooked your young friend.
Calm down a sec. Let's see what's what.
I regret that I startled you, young woman. I was pursuing another quarry when we crossed paths. I am Grata. It is my honor to represent the Great Hunt. I have been investigating possible malfeasance by one Taro Blood.
You buying any of this?
Yeah, it all makes sense. It's just rotten luck you didn't catch Taro Blood in the act.
I reviewed your security holo recording and witnessed the murder of your teammates by Taro's men. While dishonorable, the attack wasn't technically against the rules. Unless Taro attacks another competitor, he cannot be punished.
Taro's too big a coward to take me on.
Be cautious accusing Mandalorians of cowardice. They do not take such insults lightly. I shall continue to closely monitor Taro Blood's activities. If he breaks the Great Hunt's rules, he will pay for it. I have remained here to give the Trandoshan Rarsk instructions for the Great Hunt. It seems this is no longer necessary.
Rarsk is dead. I have the token to prove it.
And thus, my instructions are now for you. Indeed, you have proven yourself worthy of the Great Hunt. But the competition is only beginning. From here, you must go to Dromund-Kaas, the Imperial capital. These are your shuttle passes.
I wish Brayden could see this. At least now we can make his killer pay.
Taro Blood will get what's coming to him. That's a promise.
You're the best.
When you arrive on Dromund-Kaas, seek the Huntmaster in the Mandalorian Enclave. He will answer all your questions about the Great Hunt.
You've been a real big help, creepy guy.
Indeed.
Be quiet for once, will you?
Good hunting.
So there you go. That's the end of that particular bounty hunter quest, and I'm gonna go get level 10 in the next video. So I'm gonna check out Mako's little options here for customization. So you have the last one there, which is darker Mako, and then you have the middle one, which is like butch Mako, and then you have the last, or the first one, which is ginger Mako. I end up going with ginger Mako. It works well for her. Yeah. Just you'll see. It's just it's pretty much normal Makos with a different hairstyle, and not like so pale. I think it changed her skin color there too. So as you see there, I took out the color crystal in that weapon already. Right? It cost me money, but now I'm able to put another color crystal back in. So that's just a quick look at how that works. You just drag it out. It'll cost you a little bit of money, and then you put a new one in, and it's free of charge to put the new one in. As I derp around trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. I think I've tried to take out the epic crystal I put in. We shall see. Will I figure it out? Where's it? Oh, there I go. Okay, so it cost me like, yeah, it cost me like $277, I think that said, to pull that color crystal out. And to put a new one in, it's free of charge, so it's cool that you could take mods and stuff out of weapons and use them in a different one, especially because the color crystals actually change the color of the shots on your blaster and the color of your lightsaber. But other than that, I will come back in the next video. We'll get level 10. I'll show you some of the advanced class stuff. It probably won't be nearly as long as this one since it's finishing up, but you will get to see advanced class. So if you're interested in that on the bounty hunter, you also get to see the Imperial fleet and all that nonsense. So as I head off to find some more things to kill, I guess this one time, once again, it is time that I will see you next time.